back then in the late 60s, it was in the days before the mobility allowance. So if you were disabled and were entitled to it, you could have one of the little blue three-wheelers. And I had an Invercar three-wheeler. I was only 16 at the time, and because of that I was allowed the sports model, i.e. it had a soft top, which you could fold down. There was no other protection for your head if you went over. And they had a little, I think, 199cc motorbicycle engine, and incredibly dangerous things. They were driven with a side-mounted tiller, and you had to push the tiller down to brake. Well, of course, if you had to brake in an emergency, the tendency was to push down and forwards, which meant you were braking, steering into the oncoming traffic, and probably spinning the vehicle all at the same time. Not a great idea. And they were very light, and about 2 or 3 days after I'd passed my test, I'd taken my little Invercar up to the hospital for a checkup, and coming back, I came down the road from the hospital and turning onto the main road, probably the I can't remember what the road number was, it was a main road anyway. Had a line of trees up it, and when the wind was blowing off the North Sea, across the fens, it just blew straight down this line of trees, and you had a gale. And what it did was it turned my three-wheeler over, because when I was turning right to turn right, of course the front wheel was its least stable, and it just blew the whole car over, upside down, and down the embankment on the side. Fortunately, the lady in the car behind me was a doctor from the hospital, and she jumped out, and 2 lorry drivers who were going backwards and forwards, I think, to Felixstowe docks, came down and got somebody else, and between 3 of them, they picked the car up with me inside it and carried it back up onto the road, which shows you just how heavy they were. The doctor then came and checked me out and decided that my head had had quite a bounce when the car was rolling over. And I say, being a soft top, and I of course had the top down at the time. So she took me back to the school in her car. The lorry drivers picked the car up and put it on the back of one of the lorries and took it back to the school for me. I survived, but I never liked driving them. And it was fun. You could go out, if your friends were going out cycling for a picnic on a Sunday, then I could go in my little blue car and join them at the picnic site. And usually carry all the picnics for them at the same time. And yes, I was able to get around and do lots of things, but never really liked it.